It's time for the news here on Luntha television, and you're with me, Fales Chizombe. First, the headlines. Pope Leo XIV expresses deep sadness over Lake Kariba ferry disaster in Zimbabwe that killed more than 80. Malawi first rejects proposed government-to-government deployment of 500 nurses to Israel amid healthy worker shortage. The Center for Social Concern and Economic Governance urges government to act early to prevent sharper maize price hikes during the lean season. And in other news, Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema re-elected for a second term. We have more stories coming up. Stay with us. Pope Leo XIV has expressed his deep sadness following the ferry disaster on Lake Kariba in Zimbabwe, which claimed the lives of more than 80 people, including children. In a telegram sent on 18th August and signed by Cardinal Secretary of State Pietro Parolin, the Pope offered his heartfelt condolences to all those mourning the loss of their loved ones and entrusted the souls of the deceased to the loving mercy of Almighty God. We have a Vatican News report read by Tandiwem Zumara.
The disaster occurred on August 11th when a ferry traveling from Kariba town to the Chalala fishing camp capsized. Zimbabwean authorities said the recovery of additional bodies had brought the confirmed death toll to 80, including 18 children. Pope Leo also assured those affected of his prayers, remembering the civil authorities and emergency personnel involved in the rescue and recovery efforts. He invoked God's blessings of consolation, healing, and strength upon all those affected by the tragedy. Investigations are continuing into the circumstances surrounding the disaster. Reports indicate that the vessel had been in service for 41 years and that strong winds may have contributed to the accident. The tragedy has prompted Zimbabwean President Emerson Mnangagwa to declare a national state of emergency and pledge medical and psychological support for affected families. Lake Kariba, one of the world's largest artificial reservoirs, lies between Zambia and Zimbabwe and serves as an important transport route for rural communities and fishing communities in the region.
Malawi first has opposed a proposed government-to-government arrangement to send 500 Malawian nurses to work in Israel, arguing that the move could worsen the country's shortage of healthcare workers, particularly in rural areas. The organization's president, Bon Kalindo, says Malawi should not enter into such an agreement at a time when the country continues to face serious shortages of medical personnel and many communities struggle to access essential healthy services. Judy Fogan has filed this report.
Kalindo said although individual health workers should remain free to seek employment abroad, government should not facilitate their mass recruitment through a government-to-government deal when Malawi still has major gaps in its health workforce. He said the proposal also raises concerns under the World Health Organization's guidelines on the international recruitment of health workers, which discourage active recruitment from countries facing crucial shortages.
Nurses, almost 500,000 should go to work in Israel, and yet we are, facing challenges when it comes to, medical personnel in Malawi.
Kalindo has since urged government to prioritize training health workers and improving working conditions locally, saying Malawi needs more nurses in its hospitals and rural health facilities rather than facilitating their departure to other countries. For Luntha News in London, this is Judith Hogan.
The Center for Social Concern and Economic Governance Program Officer Agnes Nyolongo has warned that Malawi could face worsening food insecurity if government fails to act early to contain rising maize prices. The warning follows the late International Food Policy Research Institute, Malawi, Maize Market Poll report, which shows that the average retail price of maize rose by 8% in July to 791 kwacha per kilogram. The southern region recorded the highest average price at 866 kwacha per kilogram. Kala Kanzati has filed this report.
In an interview with Luntha television, the Centre for Social Concern Economic Governance Program Officer Agnes Nilongo said reducing maize imports from neighboring countries could further worsen the situation, as households are already cutting down on meals because of high food costs. She said rising maize prices could also put pressure on countries' foreign exchange reserves and encourage traders to hold grain in anticipation of further price increase.
Government can focus on one thing, that is stabilization of supply. The government should release the means in good time. We're looking at them, like the ADMAC and the National Food Reserve Agents, and keeping border traders corridors open to allow continued imports. And this can also help to reduce the problem that we are facing.
Nilongo has urged government to prioritize maize price stabilization before March, when household food stocks are expected to run low. The IFPRI report projects that maize prices could reach 1,270 kwacha per kilogram by March 2027 if adequate measures are not taken. For Luntha Television News in Lilongwe, this is Clara Kamzat.
Government has assured young people of its support to pursue their aspirations, urging them to work hard, develop innovative ideas, and utilize available opportunities to improve their livelihoods. Deputy Minister of Natural Resources, Chipiri Rompinganjira, made the remarks after officially opening the 2026 National Youth Summit in Lilongwe on behalf of the Minister of Sports, Youth and Culture. Gift Kalonga has filed this report.
In an interview, Pinganjira said government is creating opportunities for young people through financial products, government programs, and the Constituency Development Fund, while addressing barriers to accessing such opportunities. He has urged young people to utilize opportunities in technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, and to work hard to develop ideas that can contribute to national development.
Our key message is that they must know that they are being supported. The government is ready to come in. They must now take up the issues. They must now be ready to work, put in their hard work, come up with the ideas, say where they want to go. And the government is ready to assist them in that.
In his remarks, Standard Bank Chief Executive Officer and keynote speaker Philip Madinga said entrepreneurship and enterprise development should be at the center of efforts to empower young people and drive Malawi's economic growth, requiring stronger partnerships between government, financial institutions, the private sector, and development partners to create opportunities for youth participation in agriculture, creative arts, and small-scale businesses.
We want our young people, whether it's in creative arts, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in artisanal small-scale mining, we want them to participate because the future of this country belongs to these young people. We must be now exploiting the demographic dividend that we have through these young people. And that's why one of the reasons we are having this summit.
Speaking earlier, National Youth Council of Malawi, NICOM, Chief Executive Officer Roda Gadama Misomari said Malawi has made progress in promoting youth development through initiatives such as MEDEF, the Youth Innovation Fund, Graduate Internship Program, National Youth Service, and Constituency Development Fund. Misomari, however, said young people still face challenges in employment, education, skills development, health, and technology, stressing the need to measure the impact of youth programs and strengthen partnerships to achieve Malawi 2063. This year's National Youth Summit is being held under the theme Accelerating Progress, reflecting on impact, expanding prospects for youth development in Malawi. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Gift Kalonga.
Remember, you're watching Luntha News. We'll be back with more after this.
Announcement. Transition to cashless ticketing. Malawi Airlines would like to inform all valued customers that effective 1st May, all ticket purchases will be conducted exclusively through cashless transactions. As part of this transition, payment will be accepted via bank transfers and POS machines for various banks available at our offices. This measure is designed to streamline our processes, reduce transaction times, and ensure a safer, more secure way of completing bookings. Cashless ticketing will complement our existing online booking platforms, our website, and our mobile application while aligning with global aviation practices that embrace digital payment solutions. We encourage all customers to prepare for this change by making use of the available electronic payment facilities. Our sales and airport staff will be available to guide and assist customers during this transition. For further assistance, please contact our customer service team via customerrelations@malawianairlines.com or call our support line. We remain committed to serving you with dignity, efficiency, and care as we embrace this new chapter. This announcement is brought to you by Malawi Airlines Management.
Malawi Airlines, from the warm heart of Africa.
Moving on with the news, the Child Rights Advocacy Center Executive Director Memole Ngosi has described a alleged threat made against a 10-year-old boy with albinism in Biwi Township in Lilongwe as a serious threat to the child's life. Ngosi was commenting on reports that a 21-year-old man allegedly threatened to chop off the boy's arm, claiming that doing so would earn him millions of kwacha. Emmanuel Chuocha has filed this report.
Speaking to Luntha television, Ngosi said such threats should not be tolerated, warning that they could leave the child living in fear and experiencing psychological trauma. Ngosi said the alleged remarks are particularly concerning because they directly threaten the safety and the well-being of the child.
The person that is responsible for this should be arrested, because we shouldn't wait for a crime to be committed to arrest people. Even attempted crimes are crimes. And that is putting a child under a threat and also disrupting the right to protection of a child. That child is now living in fear and in trauma.
Commenting on the matter, Malawi Council for Disability Affairs Makoda spokesperson Harriet Kachimanga said such threats can cause psychological trauma to the child and called for the law to take its course.
For the victim, it may cause psychological trauma, as said. He may be fearing for his safety all the time, and most significantly, this is a violation of his human dignity and the fundamental rights of right to life and security.
Meanwhile, Kaware police spokesperson Precious Mavudapiri confirmed that the 21-year-old suspect is in police custody and has been transferred to the region police office, pending further legal proceedings. Malawi has in the past recorded cases of people with albinism being attacked and killed, although some perpetrators have been arrested and many people with albinism continue to live in fear.
In sports, the 2026 Malawi Youth Games finals have been held as a crucial talent identification and development platform that could provide a strong pipeline for Malawi's future national teams. Speaking during the finals at Lilongwe Community Ground, Deputy Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Francis Foley, said the games were playing an important role in identifying and nurturing young sporting talent, while promoting national unity and discipline among learners. Patrick Cooper has filed this report, led in our studios by Charity Chilanga.
Foley said investing in grassroots sports was essential to Malawi's ambitions of developing athletes capable of competing at regional, continental and international levels. He encouraged young athletes to remain committed to their education and sporting careers, saying the two could complement each other in sharing responsible and successful citizens.
Today we had that opportunity to identify the talents from our youth. We had the opportunity to develop the talents, not only developing and identifying, but also nurturing the talent as well.
Malawi National Council of Sports Acting Chief Executive Officer Ivy Chinangwa described the 6th edition of the Malawi Youth Games as the best so far, noting that the competition had successfully attracted athletes within the targeted under 17 age group.
It has been a success, and not just a success, but possibly the best, considering that athletes that have showcased the talents are those that we really want according to their ages.
Meanwhile, Malawi School Sports Association MASA President Blackson Manamula praised the level of talent displayed during the competition, saying the games had demonstrated that Malawi has a strong pool of young athletes who can be developed into future stars.
The benefits are enormous because we are talking of players. A lot of athletes are coming from Malawi Games. Talking of youth coming from Malawi Games, and also other avenues that we do.
In football, Southwest Education Division were crowned the Under-17 boys champions after edging Central West Education Division 9-8 on penalties following a 1-1 draw in regulation time. Northwest Education Division claimed the Under-15 boys title after another dramatic penalty shootout, defeating their opponents 14-13 following a 1-1 stalemate. In the girls' football category, Northeast Education Division secured the championship after beating Shile Highlands Education Division 2-0. The 6th edition of the Malawi Youth Games ran from August 12th to 16th and brought together 1,200 learners from primary and secondary schools across the country.
In other news, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema has been re-elected for a second 5-year term, the Electoral Commission of Zambia announced every Tuesday. He was declared the outright winner of the last Thursday's presidential election without the need for a runoff, for having secured 61.4% of the 5 million votes cast. We have an Africa News report read by Tandiwe Zumara.
According to the Commission, Hichilema won with 2,965,326 votes, and his closest competitor was opposition leader Brian Mundubile, who won 1,856,217 votes. Hichilema's victory follows a closely watched election which saw the vote counting suspended last Friday and then restarted hours later after heightened security, after the Commission said there had been attacks against some polling station officials and some ballot papers had been stolen. The government also confirmed that several leading opposition figures were arrested on the night of the elections, with the police accusing them of posing a threat to state security. Mundubile said his home was raided by the police in what he called an attack on his life. Thursday's election was seen as a test of Hichilema's economic recovery plan after the copper-rich nation was plunged into a debt crisis in 2020. Hichilema was elected in 2021 and oversaw the restructuring of Zambia's sovereign debt while reining in inflation and stabilizing the currency. International observers, including the European Union, said the election was largely peaceful, but said the broader electoral process took place in an environment that limited fundamental freedoms.
We now give you the weather update by Noel Banda.
Hello, and it's time for the weather forecast. We have reports of very cold weather conditions recorded earlier this morning, where Mulanje recorded 5 degrees Celsius, much lower, over Katete Forest, which had 4 degrees. Very cold weather conditions were also recorded over Dedza, Mzuzu Airport, and Kamzasson Airport, Ilongwe, among other places. We should expect this cold, very cold weather conditions to persist tonight, and during morning hours it will be partly cloudy and generally warm later in the afternoon tomorrow, and strong weather winds will continue blowing over lake waters. Fishermen and all lake users be advised to take all the precautionary measures. This is all because we're still getting some moisture blowing from the Indian Ocean into Malawi to sustain weather winds over the lake with generally cold to very cold weather conditions, particularly tonight and during morning hours. So tonight, clear skies expected, few clouds here and there over some parts of southern areas, the central, otherwise more clear skies over northern and lakeshore areas. Temperature might drop during morning hours to around 11 degrees as the minimum temperature for most parts over southern areas like over Luntha, Zambia, and over Mulanje, much lower over Dedza, Longwe, Mzuzu, and over Rumpi with 8 degrees, with strong weather winds to continue blowing over the lake. We should expect more sunny skies tomorrow in the morning. Clouds will be seen here and there over some parts of southern areas and central parts of Malawi. It will be generally hot later in the afternoon hours, particularly over Mangochi, Ngabu, and in Sanje. Warm weather conditions expected over most areas over the south, like over Luntha, Zambia, and Mulanje, around 24 as well over Longwe and Dedza, 22 over Rumpi and over Mzuzu. Particularly conditions are expected tomorrow in the afternoon, particularly over most parts in the southern and central parts of Malawi. More sunny skies expected to persist over lakeshore areas over Kota, Salima, Kariba, and over the north like over Mzimba, Chitipa, and over Rumpi. As we look further into Thursday, we should expect particularly conditions to persist over the country, over southern areas, central, and some parts of the north. Well, that's it for tonight. Keep warm and have a good night.
That concludes our today's news bulletin. Before we leave you, another look at the headlines. Pope Leo XIV expresses deep sadness over Lake Kariba ferry disaster in Zimbabwe that killed more than 80. Malawi first rejects proposed government-to-government deployment of 500 nurses to Israel amid healthy worker shortage. The Center for Social Concern and Economic Governance urges government to act early to prevent sharper maize price hikes during the lean season. And in other news, Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema re-elected for a second term. I've been Fales Jizombe. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to tune in for the rest of our programs here on Luntha Television. Stay safe and goodbye.